tell me your troubles, I got troubles of my own. Don't tell me your troubles, leave me alone, leave me alone. Go on home, tell it to a friend. I got troubles of my own, troubles of my own. Chapter 15. You say you could get lefty. Well, what you think about me? It's written all over your lonesome face, and any heartbreak fool can see. Leave me alone. Go on home, tell it to a friend. Troubles of my own. For my entire life, I was blessed with the gift of gab. From the moment I could speak, I possessed a unique power over the use of words. Earlier, I told you that my schooling was more of a study in socialization than history, math, or science. I got along with everybody and was never in a fight. Once, a bully punched me in the mouth because he thought his girlfriend had a crush on me. Rather than me seeking revenge, the entire school shunned him for hitting me. It was as if I was off limits to attacks from the kids in school, who made it their life's objective to beat up other people. When others used stones, their fists, or even guns to press their points, I used my vocabulary to disarm others and change their perspective on the situation at hand. Looking back, I believe I had a wider vocabulary than most anyone in town, including my own parents. Even more, I had the ability to choose the right words at the right time. Timing is everything. I remember my father saying to me one day, "Get back to work, Rainy Ray. You're a real joke cracker, you know that?" Even though he was frustrated with me. I noticed him laughing at my joke as he walked away. I also always considered writing easy, until I realized it was difficult for everyone else in my class. I think it was a function of my constant reading that strengthened my brain, which I always considered to be akin to a verbal muscle. So, when Victor brought up the notion of killing me, his own son, I knew I needed to grab onto that topic and resort to the only weapon I had in my arsenal, which were words. The room went silent after Victor informed me that I was his own son. I didn't even dare to look at my mother's face after his acknowledgement, but I couldn't help but see the shock and disbelief on Miss Martha's face. "What did he say, Elaine?" Miss Martha said. "Shh, quiet, Martha," my mother whispered. I felt Hattie Mae standing behind me, shivering, gripping my wet t-shirt, while I became a human shield to her. The world was now between me and Victor, and I was sick and tired of worrying about the possibility that Victor might be my father. And I also was sick and tired of him pushing us around and terrorizing my parents. So I put him to the test. My ability to keep things calm also became paramount. When I noticed the top of my father's head pass by the window outside towards the back of the house. Anything could happen, I thought, as Victor stood there with an appearance that resembled a crazy man who just exposed himself in public. The notion of Victor shooting me seemed possible, but strangely improbable, as I collected myself. Now that I was the center of attention in Victor's eyes, it was now my job to protect everyone else in the room, including my now mislabeled father, who could come bounding into the room at any second. When I saw my father standing in the darkness of the dining room, I resorted to my only other form of communication that I often employed when trying to talk someone off the edge of a cliff, which was body language. I quickly pitched my first nonverbal command to my father as he stood in the darkness, while I looked Victor dead in the eyes. "Stop, Dad. I've got this. Please do not come into this room." "I mean it, Dad. Just give me a chance to call this idiot down," I said through my mind, body, and soul. My father seemed to register my command as he moved back off into the darkness. It was now my time to control the room. "Victor, could I ask you a question?" I said as I carefully touched his arm. Victor leered down at my hand and slapped it away. "Take your hand off me, son. You ain't got no questions from me. Now, Hattie Mae, I just gave you an order to come over here to me. Now, if you do what I say, then this boy here and I can go on with the due process of law." "Hattie, stay exactly where you are, and I'd like everyone here to remain calm while I have an overdue conversation with my real father.
Shut up, Rainy Ray. This is not the time and place for that. What the hell do you think you're doing here anyway?
Be careful, son, my mother pleaded. He's crazy.
Who you calling crazy, bitch?
I just want some clarification on what you just said to me, Dad. Victor appeared even more agitated as he rose up on his haunches and leered down at me.
You want clarification for what, son?
Victor, now you just told me something that I'd never considered before in my entire life, and...
Now shut up, son. Don't ask me any more questions about that. That's for another time. That is, if you live long enough to have another time.
Well, you brought it up, Dad. So don't you think I have a right for a little explanation here about my lineage? I mean, you just called me your son here again.
Not now, Rainy Ray,
my mother pleaded. He's speaking nonsense, and it's also not true. Now, Victor, please leave this house immediately before things go in the wrong direction for you. It's okay, Mom. I think Victor is a troubled person. But I also think he's been hiding something deep inside for a very long time. I just want to see if I can find some relief from my father's tension.
Shut the hell up, son. And you too, Elaine. What do you mean the wrong direction? My life went the wrong direction the day you walked away from me. Started your new life with Wilford.
Well, now we're getting somewhere, aren't we, Dad? Mom, can I ask you to please calm down and let me try to help this tortured man as I trained my eyes on Victor? I just want to give you a little time to tell me why you never told me that you are my father, and why you're also trying to blame me for something that you did.
Shut up, son. I mean, Rainy Ray.
And I'd also like to give you the opportunity to tell me what happened between you and my mother.
No, Rainy Ray. Not now,
my mother pleaded.
Shut up, you little brat.
Well, Victor, you brought it up, and I believe there's never been a better time to put all this on the table.
Son, I want you to stop asking me questions and hand over Hattie Mae. Don't you hurt my baby,
Pearlie Ann cried.
Shut up, Aunt Jemima, and go find me a damn drink.
Oh, no, Dad, that's no way to speak to Pearlie Ann. But it might be just what the doctor ordered. Pearlie Ann, please excuse my father's prejudicial language. Why don't you go see if you can find my father a drink to calm his nerves?
Stay put, Pearlie Ann. What are you trying to do here, boy?
Victor shook his head as if he was questioning reality. Suddenly, Victor snapped and advanced on me, holding his gun in the direction of my face.
Are you trying to mess with my mind, boy? Now, son, do you know what the hell this thing is?
He said as he pointed the gun directly into my eyes.
Yes.
Thick silence filled the room, while harsh thunder, lightning, and rain pressed down on the house.
I asked you a question, boy.
And I said, yes, Dad.
Stop calling me Dad, you little smartass. Now, do you know what I'm going to do with this gun if you don't hand over that little pickaninny?
Hattie Mae, please excuse my father's use of prejudicial jargon, for I don't expect he knows any better. Now back to the gun. Yes, Father, I expect I do know what you think you might do with that gun, if you have the courage to do so.
Courage? What the hell are you talking about, courage? I have the courage right now to kill you, boy.
My father became more prominent as he moved closer into the doorway. Again, I ordered non-verbally.
Dad, stay away. I have this.
Both Miss Martha and Pearlie Ann were crying as they witnessed the strange dynamics in the room. Father, why would you keep all of this from me for all of these many years?
Keep what from you, Rainy Ray, you little shit?
Now, Dad. Why would you call your own son a little shit, while at the same time you're also threatening to kill me, your own son? Now, does any of this make any sense to you, Dad? For the first time in probably Victor's entire life, he seemed cornered.
Dad,
I softly spoke as Victor studied my eyes. How can you live in the same town with me and never approach me about this? Never once did you confide in me and tell me that you are my real father. I'm almost wondering if it's really true.
Well, it is true, boy.
Well, then shame on you, Victor. You will never deserve the name Dad. Thunder hit so close to the house, knocking the power out and shaking the floor. When the lights returned, everyone but Victor and I changed their positions in the room, with my father no longer in the doorway, and my mother positioned directly next to Victor with a gun pointed directly at his head. Victor, my mother calmly said, now I'm going to give you one chance to live. Do you understand me? Now I want you to put the gun on the floor and back away from my son. Victor quickly turned and faced my mother and the barrel of her Smith & Wesson. She was holding the gun like a pro with both hands,
as if she had received prior weapons training. "Well, looky here. Elaine's got herself a gun, and she's holding it against the head of an officer of the law. Now I want you to put that gun down and step away." My mother confidently cocked the gun and moved closer to Victor's head. "Now, Elaine, I want you to look at the situation from my standpoint. All I'm doing is upholding the law." "Wrong, Victor. All you're doing is threatening my son and everyone else in this room. Now drop the gun on the floor and step over to the fireplace." "Oh, you ain't got the guts to shoot the real father of your boy here." "Oh, on the contrary, Victor. I've got all the nerve in the world to shoot you dead right here and now. But I'm Rainy Ray's father, and Victor, I want you to listen to me right now. You are not my son's father." "Oh, that's just a bunch of hogwash. You know it and I know it, Elaine. We was together a long time ago, remember? And you raped me, Victor." "Come on, Elaine, that wasn't rape. It was, passion. You know you wanted me. And now look at what we created here, this beautiful boy, Rainy Ray." Conversation shook me as I felt Hattie Mae's fingers slip away from my shoulders. "We made love, Elaine." "Shut up, Victor," my mother calmly said. Anger was building in my chest. My mother took a deep breath and never took her eyes off Victor as she directed her words to everyone else in the room, most especially me. "You loved it, Elaine, didn't you? You loved it. I know you did." "Wrong, Victor. You loved it." "Loved what?" "Having power over me, Martha, and God knows who else." "What are you talking about, Elaine?" "Victor, there's not a day that goes by that I wish I wouldn't have killed you for what you did to me. But I didn't, because I was a coward." "Shut up, Elaine. You're still a coward and a selfish bitch, just like all y'all summer girls are." "How many others have you raped, Victor?" "Mom, please stop." "Quiet, son. I should have killed you then, Victor, but I didn't. Only for you to try to do the same to Martha and so many others, I'm sure." A huge crack of thunder as the power went out, and I went for it. I dove for Victor and wrapped my arms around his torso, slamming him to the wooden floor. I was squeezing the ever-living shit out of him, feeling his spine and joints crackle. But for a skinny man, Victor had a surprising amount of strength as he snaked around and pushed the barrel of the gun into my stomach. "There we go, Rainy Ray. You're a spunky little shit, ain't you? But you're not as spunky as your own daddy." On came the lights again, as everyone in the room had changed their positions, including my father, who was now standing above Victor, coming down with his nightstick right towards Victor's head. The nightstick was on target, as Victor suddenly ducked, causing the stick to miss. "Russell, capture that man at once." On order, Russell released Carol. My father was now in the arms of Russell, while Victor rose to his feet. "Now all y'all are in a big amount of trouble, especially you, Wilfred." "No, we're not, Victor. You are," Mother screamed, with the gun still trained on Victor's head. "Russell, let my husband go." "You will do no such thing, deputy." "Release him, Russell." "Hold on to him, Russell. Hold on to him, Russell." A stalemate situation was in play, as all activity stalled when boom, 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 3 deafening gunshots went off, leaving everyone in the room wondering who was now dead. Hattie Mae was standing near the front door, aiming the discharged gun directly at Victor. She had just shot 3 holes into the ceiling. "I saw what you did, Mr. Victor, to Miss Martha, and I'm going to tell everyone." "Well, there's my damn gun. How'd you get that?" Lights out again. "Get out of here, son," my mother ordered. "Take Hattie and get her out of here now. I've got this." Hattie threw open the door, grabbed my hand, and yanked me out of the house into the storm. Victor had other plans and was too quick for my mother as he bolted out of the house after us. The rain was coming down in sheets as Hattie and I ran straight for our little Harley. The waterlogged motorbike struggled to start, but upon the 3rd crank, the little engine fired up, and we were off. Out of the drive and onto the road we raced. As I glanced back at the house, noticing the lights from Victor's squad car illuminating through the storm as he charged after us. Lake Summit covered 324 acres with 10 miles of shoreline. There was only one way in and one way out. Lake Summit Road was then, and today still is, a poorly maintained gravel road. Under normal conditions, much of the gravel is usually gone, with deep dips and holes in the road, making navigating it challenging. But on that evening, The storm had turned the road into a treacherous mess with mud, standing water, and downed trees and branches. We bumped along the one-way road in pouring rain, which also included hail, hitting our obstacles surprisingly well due to the motorcycle's mountain bike suspension and the knobby tire tread. For a moment, I felt a level of confidence that we might be able to make it around the lake much better than Victor. But my confidence diminished as I saw Victor's squad hitting the pothole in narrow turns, like a car in a demolition derby. Victor's nuts, I thought as I saw him throw caution to the wind. He had abandoned any semblance of a person pretending to carry out the duties of a lawman. Victor was after us for other reasons, most likely filled with anger, rage, and all-out insanity. He'd passed the point of no return, with no way to return back to any semblance of a normal life in Melrose. He lost his wife, his church, his business, his town, and his dignity. He also realized that he was at a mortal impasse with Gudger, which up until the night before was his only savior. It happens to the best of us, that's what they always say. Take it, boy, like a man, don't stand in my way. Tell me shit, she's no good, she's as mean as she can be. It's written all over your lonesome face, and a heartbreak fool can see. Leave me alone, go on home, tell it to a friend. I got troubles of my own, Howdy, Chuck.